Okay, Captain Larry, W6WUH, video number 6 on cleaning and evaluating the Valiant. So here we are. Let's see, what time is it? It's 3:40. I guess I've been working on this an hour and a half. I'm not sure. And this is basically the end of the preliminary cleaning. And if you go back to the first or second video, you can see how dirty it was. This transmitter, I don't know, cost between $25 and $40. I don't remember what. Bought it in an estate sale. It was the end of the sale. Sitting on the floor, nobody wanted a 100-pound radio. It was filthy, and I bought it, along with a very nice DX100. So you can see that this thing has gone from being a $20 transmitter to what probably is, most guys would say is probably a $100 transmitter. And the only difference really is now that the thing is clean and you can see what you've got. In the process of doing this, let's just kind of look at the level of detail. Here's a capacitor here, and it's clean enough that if the value side was up, you'd be able to read it. All the little screw heads are clean. There's no dirt in there. Where the shafts go through the bezels, there's no dirt. That's all been scrubbed. The wires are clean. You can read the color code of the wire. They may have aged, but you can see it. Some details pop out, like the bracket has been removed from this power supply bleeder resistor, and so that calls into question why, and it's one of the things that'll go on the list to be looked at. Things like this that had green crust on them still have a little green crust, but a lot better chance of cleaning it and freeing it up. In the back corners and the places you can't reach without the screwdriver and stuff haven't been cleaned yet, but the white porcelain stuff, high voltage insulators, have been all pretty well cleaned. And the tuning capacitors here had grunge in them. This is a high voltage circuit here, and you can't have crud between the plates, so we went after that with the screwdriver, and the insulators got the preliminary treatment. That'll all get detailed out very closely, because that's important. Down in here where you can't reach, hadn't been cleaned yet, but I actually took a toothbrush to this function switch here with soap and water and then wiped it off, sprayed it with deoxit. It was that cruddy. This is sintered bronze on this, or copper on this meter case. It got done with the toothbrush. It got pretty wet. I wiped it off right away. The pots are kind of rusty, but they got well cleaned. We'll see what we got there. So what are we left with, and what's the point of this video? The point of this video now is that here's some stuff on the chassis. Let me put the camera down for a minute because my pants have fallen down. Makes for an interesting video. So here's some stuff on the chassis that didn't come off with dish detergent and warm water and scrubbing. So what are we going to do? Well, we've got an array of things that we can work on it. They're all solvents. About the mildest and the safest thing that you can use, I don't recommend getting this on your paint, by the way, but one of the mildest solvents that you can use is rubbing alcohol. You might even find a little stronger methanol somewhere in a hardware store, but this is a good polar solvent, and it will take off some kinds of things that detergent doesn't want to get. And another possibility, I used some here and it did go at it. It wasn't taking it off fast, but it was doing it. If you have access to real paint thinner, not available in California anymore, but most states called Stoddard solvent, or real paint thinner, will take off most any kind of oil and grease, and then you can wash it off with soap and water. Don't want to slop it everywhere, but it's a pretty safe thing to use, and in a case like this, I would be using that on a paper towel or with a rag to get that off. I'm going to go at this now with some what do you call it, rubbing alcohol. I don't have the tripod set up, so I don't know if I can show this or not. Pretty difficult, but I'll work at it and I'll show it next time. We've gotten to the point now, a couple of things I didn't talk about that's worth talking about, and that's cleaners that you should not use. Oh, another possible solvent that you can use is something like this stuff. This is, I can't remember what it is, I gotta read it. Dichlorofluoroethane. And let's just put a little bit of that on there and give this a shot and see what it does. Yeah, that doesn't touch it. That doesn't touch it. So that's a fluorinated hydrocarbon solvent. Good for some things, not good for this. Cleaners you should never use. Number one is, what do they call that crap? Oh, can't think of the name of it. Comes in a spray bottle. Very common kind of a cleaner. Oh well, I guess I'll have to do this in another video because I can't think of the name of the stuff. But anyway, it says right on the bottle, do not use on aluminum. It's corrosive on aluminum. Another one that's potentially corrosive on aluminum is the green stuff, whatever they call it, the simple green. You might get away with using that stuff diluted, but I wouldn't. I would not put that in my radio if I could avoid it. If I did, it would only be on something topical like this metal and not on electronic components, and then I'd rinse it right off. But I just basically would not use that stuff. Dish soap and water, dish detergent, and warm water has proven to be extremely safe. I've been using it on radio overhauls for antique radios and ham radios. Some radios have been out in the field now since they've been in my shop for more than 30 years. And it doesn't cause corrosion. It doesn't hurt the components. It's safe to use, and it works. As you can see here, it works very well. So stick with something that works. Don't use any Armor All. What is that crap called? I can't think of what that stuff is called. I'm not a fan of WD-40. Some people will use it for things. It's a solvent. It's not a lubricant. It doesn't have good electrical properties. I would not use that stuff in my radios. Okay, enough of this.